So what I do is cover hurricanes when the core is coming on shore. That's what's happening now. Let's go ahead and get to the NHC advisory, and I'm going to screen share a bunch of stuff using Zoom, so I hope you can see everything and hear everything okay, and look forward to feedback as always. So here it goes. Let's get on with it. Okay, so here is the public advisory from the National Hurricane Center. This is the latest as of 4 p.m. And we have, I'm going to annotate some stuff here. So we have at 4 p.m., the system is at 29.2 north, 90.6 west. That's 65 miles south-southwest of New Orleans, Louisiana. Maximum winds 110 right there. We have moving northeast at 24 miles an hour. This thing is screaming, folks. 24 miles an hour right here. So this is going to move through quickly. This is going to be a very fast event. From now until probably 9 o'clock tonight, pressure 970 millibars, 970. Hurricane force winds extend out 35 miles from the center. So this is not a large circulation. Here's the peak surge inundation map, and we're looking at, again, the highest surge potential is going to be along the Mississippi border, 7 to 11 feet, from the mouth of the Pearl River to the Mississippi-Alabama border. All right, let's look at a little bit of the history of this real quickly here. It did hit the Yucatan Peninsula as a Category 1 hurricane, 80-mile-per-hour winds. Came in there, hit the Cozumel area, and then came in just south of there, brushing, what's the name of that city there? The Merida area. And then it came out into the Gulf of Mexico, and here we are. And notice that it's a tiny little hurricane force wind field. Again, look at the skinny stretch of red winds, red path there, which are extending out about 30, 35 miles. So it's not a real large hurricane, kind of small. And that's why if you're not right near the eye of this thing, you might only get tropical storm force winds out of this. Go. Here is, okay, that's not timed out. Okay, that's live. All right, there's our live radar shot. And again, all these areas in the reds and yellows are very intense winds, probably gusting to 100, 110 miles an hour. Right up in here, these are the areas that are getting pummeled right now by those really high winds. So what's going to happen when these winds hit these areas? You're going to get, this is, by the way, right down here is Grand Isle, Louisiana, right in here. So the heavy bands have already passed through Grand Isle, Louisiana, and they're moving northeast now. The way this eye looks to me is I think this is going to hit New Orleans dead on. I think they're wrong on those projections of hurricane force winds going east of New Orleans. We'll have to see about that, but it's looking to me like this is going to be a New Orleans hit here. Yeah, if you look at the storm tracks here, they're all basically kind of indicating this is a northerly. I mean, it's clearly obvious the hurricane is moving north, but I mean, it's the direction of all those arrows combined is really what you'll have to look at for the forward motion of this hurricane, and they're taking it into New Orleans proper. So I think this is going to be a hurricane for New Orleans. Now, I think by the time it gets into New Orleans, maybe it'll be down to Category 1. We'll have to see about that, how they label it as it comes into New Orleans. Tornadoes are a possibility, and the other thing you'll see in the eye wall of this hurricane are these mesovortices, and I always talk about those when I'm in the hurricane, and there are these swirling winds that are probably maybe 50 yards wide. They're not like a big gigantic tornado, but they're like 50 yards wide, and it's just a change in direction. It's not really an increase in the wind speed, it's just a change in direction. And it can crack something. A tree that maybe is cracked, it will take it, twist it, and break it completely clean off, or it'll take a gas station canopy and rip it with a wind direction. So let's go to the next position. And again, notice the red donut and the red little circle to the right of the donut. Those are sustained hurricane force winds inside the red. And when you get into the aqua circle out in here, these are gust up to hurricane force, but mainly tropical storm force winds. And then the yellow, inside the yellow circle are tropical storm force gusts, not necessarily sustained, but gusts. So let's put this in motion. Let's go to the next position. Here we are at 7 p.m. This is about 2 hours from now. It's going to be right over New Orleans, or pretty close to it, the eye. And at this time, it'll have winds around 100 miles per hour, and fastest basically 15 nautical miles to the east of New Orleans. Then we have the hurricane force winds getting into Mississippi at 8 o'clock tonight. Again, very small hurricane force wind field there inside that donut, basically. Eye passing possibly right over Bay St. Louis. And here we are inland. Finally, at 9 p.m. tonight, the entire eye and everything is inland in Mississippi. Okay, this is mission number 17 from the WC-130 aircraft into Hurricane Zeta. And there's our latest vortex message. We have 971 millibars. So when you click on this, it gives you all the specifics of what the Hurricane Hunter aircraft is finding. The center fix is 78 miles to the south-southwest of New Orleans. That's where the center of the eye is. The eye character is open to the southwest. We have the eye shape and diameter is 22 nautical miles wide. So we have a 22-mile wide eye. Mainly the highest winds here are on the east side of the circulation and southeast side of the circulation. And here we are. Look at the winds just howling off this thing right now. These are winds in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Look at that. That is awesome. I mean, that wind is just howling. That's coming right off the ocean. Look at the wave. This is awesome. Look at that. Wow. It's like, see how it's all foamy and everything, and the winds are just blasting off of there? I mean, this is, let's go full screen on this. I mean, this is absolutely awesome what's happening here. I mean, look at that. The waves can't even form because the wind is blowing the top of the waves off. It's basically decapitating the waves as it's coming in. And those winds that you see over the grass area there, those are what you see in parking lots when you're sitting in the middle of a hurricane. It's like a jet airplane. The wind is just roaring off of the ocean. Kudos to these people from Island Realty. I mean, this is just absolutely awesome. Obviously, the winds there are out of the south. And looking at that wind there, I would have to say those winds are probably sustained around 90 at least. Now, when I say sustained, that doesn't mean it's pegged. The anemometer would be pegged at 90. It just means that and by the way, there's no sound on this, so I'm just talking through this. But the wind would be like 90, and then the next second it would be dropping to 50, and then it would be 90 again, and then 50, and this is going to happen continuously. But look at those waves just getting annihilated. This is absolutely awesome. Here comes the surge coming in now. But the people in Pensacola, they had all kinds of problems. There were barges breaking loose in Hurricane Sally, and they smashed into the bridge there and took out the highway there for a while. I don't know if they got that fixed yet, but this is incredible. The winds that are coming in right now on this camera. Bill Phillips and myself, we both have cameras, and I go and set them up where the hurricanes are hitting, and this would be like kind of the shot we'd be looking for. Absolutely, this is just, I mean, this is incredible. Again, it's low tide there, though. It's low tide, so this would be a lot worse if this were high tide right now, which is going to be around 10 or 11 p.m. tonight. So, wow. I'm wondering if this camera, where this camera is located, like how high it is up off the ground. It looks to me like it's got to be at least 10, 15 feet up. That wind is really accelerating. Look at that. That's got to be sustained around 90, 100 miles an hour right there. Wow. I don't even want to leave off of this camera right now because it's so good. Sometimes you can lose these webcams, and when we do coverage when I'm not there filming, this is the best representation that you could possibly find is a camera right on the ocean. And I'm not sure if this is even on the ocean. And there's our current radar shot of Hurricane Zeta moving on. And there's the tight little eye right there. Again, just north of Grand Isle, right where that camera is. I think they're located right there. And you got that orange-red band coming in. And that might be where that cam has got that shot. Incredible. Looks like there's something moving off to the right, like a tree or something perhaps, or right now this is where the action's at. Right there in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Tremendous winds coming off the Gulf of Mexico, 90, 100 miles an hour, maybe even gusts of 110. I mean, the waves can't even form. They're being shredded by the wind. Trying to get a checkup on the power outages. Okay, in Louisiana we have 34,173 state outages. Yeah, we're looking at about 20 to 30% power outage right where this camera is right now. So there's the palm tree whipping around. It's probably a sable palm on the right-hand side of the screen. You can barely see it, but from time to time there's more surge coming in. It's trying. It may be an elevated piece of land there where you're not really get a glimpse of the storm surge. There's a Shell oil station platform. We have winds 47 knots gusting to 60. We have wave heights of 26 feet. Ooh, look at the traffic lights bobbing around pretty good in that shot. This is getting closer to New Orleans now. This is eastbound on LA 57 at LA 66. Wow, look at the wind. They're kicking those traffic lights pretty good. Oh, that's near Houma. That's not up near New Orleans. Correction on that. This is the Intracoastal Waterway and at LA 24, Intracoastal Waterway. Wind is blowing pretty good. Power lines, traffic lights are bobbing, but the power is still on. Notice the gas station in the corner here. This is at LA 182 and LA 315. Okay, it looks like the wind has shifted now. Look at this. It's more like out of the southwest. And look how much it's calmed down. Now, that could be the eye. That could be the center right there, moving over this area. Or they could just be in one of those bands. So let's pull a radar up and see exactly what's happening here. And again, we don't know exactly what street that this thing is on. I think this eye is going to pass right over Lake Pontchartrain. Lake Pontchartrain is right in here. So, I mean, I think this thing's going to pass like right over the lake. There's the Lake Pontchartrain, and then the New Orleans area is out in here. That's all New Orleans right there. So this is going to come right over. I mean, it's coming there. Here's the Walmart Supercenter video. Wow, look at it now. Traffic light. Now that's a mast arm. You notice that right hand? Because look at the ones over here. They're on wires. They're not on a mast arm. But see how dangerous that is? The guy's driving right below the traffic lights. I mean, that's just one of those things can come crashing down. I don't like hanging out underneath traffic lights or intersections for that very reason, because one of them lights could come crashing right down on that car right now while he's sitting there like that. It's just really, really dangerous. You can see the wind howling across the road, though, definitely. That's my desktop on my computer here, and the satellite images rendered from the HurTrack program. So that's a visible shot of Hurricane Zeta. And there is our eye, currently heading towards New Orleans. I mean, it's going to be close. I mean, that eye is like heading right in there. It's going to be like on the eastern side of Lake Pontchartrain, but it's definitely going to hit there. Maybe 2.5 hours. That thing is booking. It's moving at 24 miles per hour over southeastern Louisiana. The date is October 28th at 6:17 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:17 p.m. Central Time. An unofficial weather station in Golden Meadow just reported a sustained wind of 94 miles per hour and a gust of 110 miles per hour. So there you go. There's your 110. Generally, you don't see 110 sustained. When they say that the hurricane is 110 mile per hour winds, chances of you seeing 110 are slim, but occasionally you'll get a gust of 110, so that verifies. Pressure 972 millibars. In downtown New Orleans, car driving down the road. Doesn't appear to be blowing that bad there right now, but again, the most intense bands are south of the city. It'd be kind of neat to see this sign fall down right here. Keeping an eye on that one. Got another sign. Right in here where my mouse pointer is. Let's go back and show it to you. Why not? Effect anyway. This is US 90 at LA 428, south of Lake Pontchartrain. I don't know if those are electric wires or guide wires or whatever bouncing around there. This is going over Lake Pontchartrain. That's I-10 at Louisa. Looks pretty intense there. This is eastbound on I-10. Still quite a few cars driving around. This is in Slidell, just north of Lake Pontchartrain. Look at how high that water is. I mean, I've been over that bridge. I know the water is not that high normally. This is current. I mean, this is 1745. Power lines bouncing around pretty good there. Watching for power lines coming down. This is where you might see arcs of power flashes in a situation like this where you have all these power lines in front of the camera. This is in New Orleans. And they got these people, this is what I don't really understand. I mean, you got these people down here parked right underneath those trees. I wouldn't do that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. The New Orleans cam, the Bourbon Street cam is down now. The red's right in here are probably gusting up to 100 miles per hour. Wouldn't surprise me. They're probably more like 90 gusting, probably 50 to 90 mile an hour winds inside those the yellow and red there. This is off my phone. You have, according to poweroutage.us, we have 60% plus now without power in southeast Louisiana and the Plaquemines down there, and maybe like 30 to 50% in the Shell Beach area, and then you got the Grand Isle area. It's only showing about 10-20% outages. Pretty good. It's really calmed down. That might be the center of the hurricane right now, passing over New Orleans. That's how fast this is all happening. I mean, look at the power lines are practically calm over here. I mean, they were blowing pretty good there a little while ago. There was a little bit of bending on this pole right here. This pole right in here was bending a little bit earlier, but it's calm. People walking around over here. Yeah, they're getting in the calm in New Orleans. That's what's happening there in that cam shot. Still got the bat look, but it looks like rabbit ears now. So let's check out north of Lake Pontchartrain, because that's where it looks like the worst of that wind is right now. And I don't know why they're driving semi-trucks around. It makes utterly no sense to me in hurricanes, why these trucks are out driving around. It looks like there's still cars driving across that Lake Pontchartrain. Look at that. That's current. I-10. Wow, that wind is really blowing, man. Look at that. That's where the most intense band. Look at that wind. That's where the most intense bands are happening right now. This is near New Orleans International Airport. Cars driving around. Oh, wow. Is that water? Yeah, look at the water flowing in underneath that. This is westbound on I-10. Look at the water. I mean, just like if you could get the raindrops off the screen, you could see the water waves on the water underneath I-10. That's incredible. Wow. There's definitely whitecaps underneath that I-10 right now. That water is flowing in. There's something underwater down there. I mean, the tower is sitting in water. $975 millibars. They got down pretty low there. That was downtown New Orleans. I got down to 975 millibars. 47.9. Pressure 980 millibars. I mean, yeah, in this area here, let me annotate this. I mean, this area here, all these winds are like 60 miles per hour. And then up here we had same thing around 60. But there's nothing down here, you know, so I mean that's the question. We just don't know what happened down in these areas. I mean, winds could have been 100 miles an hour. Look at how calm it is now. There's Grand Isle. As if nothing happened. See the wires are starting to bounce around again. This is in New Orleans. Now Slidell is getting it the worst. Look at Slidell on the radar is getting kind of pounded here. Cars still flying down the road towards New Orleans, going across Lake Pontchartrain. Twin span, North Shore, going heading south. Okay, so Slidell's clearing out now. They're in the center, or getting near the center. And now Waveland, Mississippi is getting in on the action. And you can see what happened if you look at that floater loop. All of these bright purple colors right in here actually collapse and just as they're getting into New Orleans. So they were kind of spared that really hard, heavy banding. Let me go back to the weather observations. Now, Brent's weather station. .11. There we go, 75.6. If this is correct, and his pressure got down to 29.11, which is 986 millibars. Focusing over here is running the enhanced satellite. These areas right in here got really some of the deepest purple reds around the back side of that eye. 374,437 in Louisiana are now without power. Wow. Almost 375,000. Public advisory, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. winds 100. I think that's very generous. 10 miles southwest of Slidell. 100 mile per hour winds moving north-northeast at 25 miles per hour. Pressure 972 millibars, 28.71 inches. Hurricane force winds extend out 35 miles from the center. Shell Beach recently reported sustained winds of 81 miles per hour with a gust of 101. Weather Flow Station at New Orleans Lakefront recently reported a minimum central of 973 millibars. This is in Biloxi from the lighthouse, from inside the lighthouse. Pretty cool. You can see the wind howling out there. I mean, look at the street down below. That wind is really blowing. Wow. Lots of power flashes. Now everything's out. He's in base St. Louis. I did it when I was setting up.
Herman and River Road, there's some lines running through the trees that need to be taken care of. In 148 Herman Street, that's either Cox or telephone is running across, unpassable in that area. At 6300, under control with the gas leak. Atmos was probably put it on their list for tomorrow, maybe, I guess, to go ahead and have it checked out.
125 Madeira Drive, the large tree branch that's on a power line that's in the rear of the structure.
In power line 673 Morningside Drive, zone 5240. Tree fell, pulled electrical box off for house, wires down. 529 Hector Avenue, zone 1408. Air 529 Hector Avenue, cross streets, Geranium Street and Avenue. Echo, zone 1408. Plane advised. A line caught a tree on fire. Close to the house. Fire alarm sent out. 2001.
In the back of the houses, we have a press pole. Power line is down. 300 ESF4. Go ahead.
33, it was a transformer on fire before. It's the ones behind the home. Everything's out and people.
251.
There's a street. There's a tree that fell blocking the right lane of Highway 90. That's it.
Metal roofing material, and the correct address is going to be 156 Elaine Drive.
Sparking, put it on NCG's list. Line sparking in the backyard. And your 208 is going to be returning.
Copy. Not a structure fire. We'll put on energy's list. Engine 20 returning.
Also, I got 2 calls of a large oak tree going across the railroad tracks. Somewhere, I guess, in the vicinity of Chapatulas in that area. We tried to look for it before, but we have no access to see if anything. It's supposed to be a large oak tree.
Stand by. 500 Westwood Drive. Supposed to be a situation with a power pole and a transformer dangling. Can you put eyes on it?
Copy.
Avenue C, we have multiple poles, at least 3 laying across the road. Copy that. Follow me 200. Impassable. Have an awning in the middle of the road.
Feeder wires down in the street, and that whole block is going to be impassable. There's trees down on the 23rd Street crossing over Claire, and there's a tree down in the roadway on Claire, so that whole block is going to be impassable.
Copy. The correct address is going to be 460 is where the tree landed on the power line. The correct address for that is 460 Ellis Drive. 356 around. Got a tree and a power line down on a house. I got one person, elderly, trapped inside. Can you get NCG out here ASAP? 1000 Gruffer.
648, 617, respond to a structure fire. 1006 Gruffer Avenue, so 6102S. It's a structure fire, 1006 Gruffer Avenue, across Street Wilmer Garrison Street, 16th Street, so 1602S. Before a tree power lines that fell onto a house, elderly female trapped inside on 2025.
The 200 Bellmead Boulevard, power lines down. Check that for us. Down across the street. Street's unpassable. 2 poles leaning in the back of 2 different residents on Brookmead with power lines down on the rooftops of the houses. 2-1 from 807. Go ahead. It's not going to be power line. It's going to be an actual pole with a transformer on it laying across the street. Copy. It is hot. Follow me 214 Robinson pole with live transformers in the street. Notify energy.
Copy. Pole with live transformer.
Copy. Cable wire at 510 Roseland. I've marked it with tape. I'll just put it down and notify Cox or whoever it belongs to later.
We just got 1 power lines, Heritage Avenue and Terry Parkway, zone 5140. Down light pole in the front of the location. Right.
Alarm from 378 at 2125 Granada. We got a power pole cracked.